someone erroneously started building on your land, rather than evict that person or show some form of resistance or even tell the person to stop building on that land, you allow the person to persevere in ignorance. And the reason why you keep doing something like this is so that you can claim the building after the person must have constructed it, because the land belongs to you. But I'm telling you today that that is so absolutely wrong. It's a no for me. It is wrong, it's in all entirety. Because this thing you are intending to do might backfire against you. Okay? Even if it's taken to court, it might backfire against you. And what does the law says about this? Now, the general principle of law is that which plantator solo said it, which means that the person who owns the land owns the soil, everything on the soil, as well as up to the sky. So meaning that the person who owns a particular plot of land owns the building on it, as well as the features, as well as the trees on it. Okay, so with that, but most people are misconstruing this principle of law. Okay, behind every principle of law there's an exception. An exception to this particular principle of law is that if someone erroneously builds on your land, you as the owner of that land has the duty to inform the person to stop building on that particular plot of land. Okay, you have to show some form of resistance. Don't let the person build on the land, especially when you are aware that the person is building on your land. But if the person, despite the resistance, proceeded in completing the building on your land, then you can actually take up this matter to court and eventually get judgment in your favor, which means that the court might actually grant you custody to that of the land as well as the building on it, meaning both the land and the expenditure, the building on it, it definitely automatically belongs to you. Okay, but the key thing is that you must actually show some form of resistance. Okay, if the person is building on your land, don't just relax and allow the person to complete the building and then you go to court. It is risky. It is risky, particularly when you know that the person is actually building on your land, particularly when the person is actually doing it not knowing that the land belongs to you. Okay, some people go about building on people's land thinking that the land actually belongs to them. Unknown to them, the land actually belongs to a different person entirely. So there are a lot of true life stories where these have happened in Nigeria, and I'm going to be stating them briefly. Okay, years ago, a man bought a dilapidated building. Okay, he bought it from a family, but unknown to him, the family members, the principal members of the family, never consented to that transaction. So the family members saw him building on the land. Okay, rather than notify him or show a form of resistance or even tell him that he's erroneously building on their land, they allowed him to complete the building. And then the family member now went to court. They sued this man to court in a bid to claim both the land and the property. The court said, no, you don't do that. You don't allow a man to know in his error and then come back to claim what the man has already worked for. The man actually did not know that this land does not belong to him. Okay, he was oblivious of the fact, and you actually knew that this land doesn't belong to him, but you allowed him to continue building without telling him. And how it would be unfair for you to come back to now claim both the land and the building. So the court said no, and that was how the man claimed both the land and the building. The family didn't claim nothing. They had nothing because they were trying to benefit from their own wrong. They were trying to benefit from their own fraud, and the law found against that. Happened in Ghana sometime in 1954. A person bought a land from a vendor. Okay, but he was not aware that the real owners of the land have actually sued the vendor in declaration of title. They sued the vendor in a bid to reclaim back the land from the vendor. He was not aware. But these real owners, they were all aware about this. Yet they didn't tell the person that bought the land. They allowed the person to complete the building he was building on that land. And then when they saw that he has completed the building, they ran to court. They sued. They instituted an action in court for declaration of title. The matter got to court. The court held that it would be wrong. The court gave judgment in favor of the person who bought the land on the ground that these people, the real owner of the land, they saw that this person was actually building on this particular plot of land, and they didn't tell him. They didn't tell him. Then by so doing, they've waived their rights. They've waived their rights. So if as a landowner that you are, someone erroneously start building on your land, don't just let that person to annul in error. Don't do that, because it might backfire. Take active steps to let this person know that you are actually the rightful owner of that land. And there are steps you can take. You can either go to the person to tell the person. You can mount something like a caveat there that this land belongs to you, nobody should build on it. Take active steps. Some people go to the extent of destroying some things on the building, such as the fence, just to show that they are actually the owner of that land. But you must take steps, because if you don't take these steps and you eventually go to court to reclaim that land, it will be too late, because the person have already built on it. You didn't tell the person, you didn't let the person know that the land doesn't belong to him, and that's it. So having said that, I want to thank you all for watching.